If you have a wall in your house that is sagging, you go out and look and your foundation is broke. It's broken, it's busted, right? Are you going to fix that wall by fixing the roof? Or are you going to fix the foundation and work your way up from there? So many people are thinking when Donald Trump wins this election, he's going to fix the United States problems. You cannot fix these problems from the top down. Drain the swamp sounds awesome, right? It sounds great. You know, they're going to drain the swamp, get all these people out. You've got to start at a lower level and work your way up. It's from your small town politicians to your county politicians to your state politicians up to your congressmen, your senators, all that, right? You got to get all these people out of office. You got to say enough's enough. You know, y'all are spending money everywhere that we do not have. You're sending money over here. Meanwhile, our highways are falling apart, our infrastructure is falling apart, but yet we can send billions and billions of dollars to other countries, right? But we can't fix our problems. You've got to, charity begins at home. You got to fix this country first before you can worry about going out and helping and fixing another country. Plain and simple. You got to start at the bottom and work your way up. Plain and simple. Donald Trump wins the election. Sounds awesome, right? He's going to come in. You're going to have more money in your pocket. Prices are going to come down. You can buy a new car cheaper than you can buy it now. All this stuff sounds awesome, right? It's just a coating. It's just a coating, right? It's like a rotten board in a house. You don't want to tear that board out. You just paint over it. You paint it to make it look new, right? Use that good thick paint. Put several coats on it. Make it look like nothing's wrong with it. But when you start poking on that board, right, it just falls apart and crumbles. That's what we're looking at. Get it out of your head that these problems can be fixed from the top down. They can't. Will it help a little? Yes, it will help a little. But it's not going to fix the problems. Because like I said in yesterday's video that a lot of people haven't seen, what in 4 years from now, where are we at? What happens in the next presidential cycle, right? If you just keep coating over stuff, eventually it's all going to crumble, right? You get enough rotten boards or something around your house, eventually that house is going, we're sagging. The country is sagging right now like a house that's on a rotten sill plates, rotten joists. We're sagging, right? If you're not willing to fix that, it's going to crumble down. Plain and simple. The problems we're facing here in America are we're sending too much money to other countries when we have issues here in our own country. We have illegals coming across the border that's getting money, right? It's been proven that they're getting money handed to them. Maybe not all of them, but in some places they are getting money, phones, free housing, and things like that. They're getting lined up for some jobs. You know, they used to be where it's to the point of where you're like, why are we helping everybody but Americans, right? Why are we helping everybody but Americans? Look at how much money Donald Trump raised right after he was convicted. What, it was over $50 million, right? Okay, we can't get that same type of stuff for the homeless. Think if everybody donated to the homeless to stop the homelessness. They could knock that out pretty quick, or at least put a huge, huge dent in it, right? We're at the point now where they want to help everybody else. And let's say you're homeless. Well, most people look at a homeless person, it's because they're a drug addict, they're a drunk, they did this or they did that, right? There's no, what's the word? No sympathy for them, right? No sympathy. But they'll have sympathy for other countries. Oh, stuff's going on bad over there. Let's send millions of dollars, right? Right? We see it every time during hurricane season, right? They'll do these big fundraisers to help these countries affected or earthquakes or whatever, volcano eruptions. And meanwhile, you know, out in Hawaii, they get burned out essentially, and the government says, here's you $700 per household. Does that make any sense? Why can they not help the American people first, right? Charity begins at home. If you're not able to fix your problems here, why are you helping other countries? Some people get mad when I say that. Oh, it's because of this or this deal or that deal that they made, right? That we would protect them and this and that. You do realize some of the money that we've sent to Ukraine is to pay retirement funds for people and things like that, right? Meanwhile, here in our country, we're all having to work like crazy just to get by, right? You're having to get a second job or you're having to work a lot more hours just to get by. And when I say get by, I mean paying your bills and buying groceries. I'm not talking about buying, buying four-wheelers, motorcycles, side-by-sides, a new tractor, none of that. You're working your ass off to get by. to get by. A lot of people think when the world finally collapses, that when the government collapses, they don't have to pay no more bills no more. The tax man's still going to want their money. If you're renting houses, you're still going to pay your rent. Your mortgage is still going to due. Read back on your history to the 1930s. Just read through the Depression. That's all you got to do. Bills were still due. But it was a different time frame back then. What was, let's say 70% of the population lived out in the country. Right? 30% lived in the cities. I'm probably off on that, but you get what I'm saying. Now it's flip-flopped. 70-80% live in the city and 30% live out in the country. It's going to be a totally different ball game. Totally different than from the Depression in the 30s. Are we in a depression right now? I think we're right at the beginning stages of it, if we're not already in it. We're definitely in a recession. Definitely. Are we going to see the dollar completely collapse? It's very possible that we're going to see it collapse. It's very possible. And a lot of people teach stack gold and silver, gold and silver. Well, honestly, at the prices of gold and silver right now, it's hard to stack it, isn't it? It's hard to stack it. I mean, when you're barely getting by week to week, or unfortunately most people nowadays get paid every 2 weeks or once a month, right? It's hard to stack gold and silver. When Donald Trump gets in the presidency, so many people think that you're going to have more money in your pocket, prices are going to be down. You know, am I telling you not to vote for Donald Trump? No, I support Donald Trump, but I'm also a common sense person where I look at it and be like, you cannot fix what's going on by voting your way out of this. You can't. But I'm not telling you not to go vote. It is your duty as a citizen to vote. But you got to understand, this doesn't get fixed from the top down. It's got to start from the bottom up. There's so many people that you're hearing now, they're flying their flags upside down, they're upset, they're in distress. But until them people realize that just showing a flag upside down, or, you know, commenting or making a video or whatever, it's not going to do nothing. It'll make you feel better for a little bit, you know, showing that you're standing up, but until the American people finally come together and say enough's enough and get these people out, you know, vote them out or however, it's got to the point of where they're just going to keep doing it. They're just going to keep doing it. You know, have you ever heard or seen, or have you been in a position where you've been in a relationship and the person you were with, they constantly cheated or they constantly lied and you kept putting up with it and putting up with it, and then finally you were like, enough's enough, I'm done? It's the same type of situation with what's going on with our government. They do not follow the Constitution. They do not follow the Bill of Rights. They don't. They may say they do, but what do they do when they, well, we can't do this because this amendment says we can't do it. Let's write a new amendment. Let's make a new amendment, which I think is going to happen pretty soon here, about if you're convicted of any sort of crime or under, you know, you're not going to be able to run for presidency, right? You're not going to be able to run for president. You got to understand, Trump has to have top secret clearance, right? How are they going to do that with him with felony convictions? It makes you shake your head, right? It really does. I mean, think about this. A lot of times a felon can't get on a military base. You can't go to certain countries. Some states you cannot vote in. You know, maybe in a way this might help some felons when he gets elected, that maybe he can change some rules where they can vote, right? My feeling on it is once you do your punishment, you know, you're done with it, you should get your rights back. And a lot of people disagree with that. But it's to the point now where people think by electing someone president, they can fix our problems. Until you tell your congressmen, your senators, quit sending this money everywhere, do what we say, you are a elected official representing us, but you're not doing what we're asking. You know, if 80 to 90% of the states saying don't send money to that country, and you got 10%, they're like, well, that 10% wants us to do it, that's fine, right? Guys, I'm not saying America is the worst country ever. But I will tell you this, the American dream is not there no more. I know some people say it was never there, but used to back all the way up to at least the 70s or 80s. As long as you were willing to go out and try, you can make a go at it, right? You can make a go. It's at the point now where it's not. The American dream is for immigrants. Someone who's living in a country where they're making $2 a day, and they look over at America, and they're like, "Oh, I can go over there and go to work and make more money." Then they come over here, and you got to understand, they're living in a little rundown shack, right where they're living. Well, when they get here, they can get a roach infested apartment, a little 1 bedroom apartment, and they're making a little money. To them, that's awesome, right? The American dream, as far as you or I want to go out here, and let's say your dream is to own 40 acres. That's your dream. You go out here right now in today's society, number one, that 40 acres in my area is going to run you, I don't know, what, two, three, $400,000 maybe in my area. And the cost of everything that you're paying for, your daily expenses have went up. That dream's gone. You can't afford that. You can't. It's gone. The property market is saturated with people that's just greedy as hell, plain and simple. A house, like I said, that you could have bought in 2018 for, let's say it was 100,000. That house now is 500 or up, right? 500,000 or up. It's got to the point where the American dream is unattainable. Can you start a business? Yes, you can start a business. But with the economy the way it is, people do not have the extra income to support your business. They don't. They're already picking and choosing between, do I need to pay this bill or do I need to buy groceries this week? It's getting rough out there. More and more people are also starting to do, either they're not touching their home improvement stuff, they're just like, I'll just let it go. Or they're learning how to do it themselves, which is a good thing. But it hurts the businessman who has that business that does home remodeling, plumbing, and things like that. I mean, the prices are absolutely insane right now in America. I don't know why you think everything's going to be fine once Trump gets into the presidency. It's not. It's not. You've got to get prepared now for what's coming in the future. Plain and simple. Some people, they don't have a problem with putting money back to pay for their vacation they're going to go on each year, right? But when you tell them, hey, you might want to stock up on some food, water, and things like that, they're like, nothing's going to happen. Or I don't have the money to do that, right? We hear that all the time. I don't have the money to prep. I don't have the money. Meanwhile, you're like, okay, what do you do every week? Well, I go eat at McDonald's once a week, or I go eat at a restaurant twice a week, or, I buy coffee every day. Okay, how much does your coffee cost? Well, I can get it for $1 a day. And people are like, well, that's not bad, $1 a day, right? How many days a week do you buy that coffee? 5 to 7. Okay, that's $5 to $7 that you can throw in a pack of beans that'll feed you for a day or two, right? Where that cup of coffee you're buying is just instant gratification. Don't get me started on the people that pay $5 and up for a cup of coffee. That's just, I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. Go buy the stuff at the store and make it at home. You get a lot more for that $5 or $7. But if your house is crumbling down and your foundation is broken, you've got to fix the foundation first. You've got to look and be like, our country's broken. We cannot help you. We cannot help your other country over here that's got these problems. We can't. How many of you think Trump's going to come in and he's immediately going to stop all these wars? Some people do honestly act like Trump is the second coming of Jesus. Some of you are going to say that's sacrilegious. But some people believe that he's going to come in and there's going to be peace all over the earth and, prosperity on the horizon. Guys, we're in the point right now where all you have is hope. That's it. If you actually look at something and you're like, this is bad, we just got to hope it gets better. But if you're not willing to put in the work to fix or to help fix the problems, then you're part of the problem, right? Honestly, it does no good, like I said, to sit here. I understand you're frustrated, you're flying your flags upside down, you're pissed off, you're mad, you're cussing. If that's all you're willing to do, then it does nothing. And they know that. The government knows that. People are going to get mad, they're going to do this and that, but at the end of the day, they're still going to go to work, they're still going to pay their taxes, they will complain and gripe. But yet we're still going to keep doing what we're doing because they're not going to do nothing. And that's the honest truth to the whole situation. Honest truth. I'm not telling you to go out here and go crazy or anything like that, but you've got to start at the bottom and work your way up. It starts at your local government up. You've got to look at these congressmen and senators and be like, look, enough's enough. You're not doing what we're saying. You got to get out of office. 4 more years from now, where will we be? What happens the next presidential election cycle? What did Robert De Niro say, that if Trump got in there, he was going to become a dictator and never leave? Trump's up there in age. He's in his late 70s. Don't think he's got a lot more time left. Really don't. Maybe he lives in his 80s, but who knows, right? Who knows? The point of it is, all they're doing is painting over the rot right now. They are painting over the rotten boards, making it look good, but when you push on it, it's rotten. And that's what's happening in America. That's plain and simple. You're in the middle of a big soap opera, you're in the middle of a show, you're in the middle of a movie, but it's real life, right? What they do affects us. And that's the problem. On a TV show, you don't like it, you just turn the channel, right? You just turn the channel and watch something else. But we're at the point now where every decision they're making is not only affecting you and I, it's affecting our kids, it's affecting our grandkids, it's affecting every generation that's coming. Every generation in your bloodline that's going to come up, it's affecting them. I have grandkids right now that are little, toddler stage. What's the country going to look like when they're 47 years old? If it's still here, what's it going to look like? From as far as we've come from just 2016 in 10 years pretty much to 2024, it's 8 years I know, but look how far it's come since then. How far down it has went since then. Some people say, well, Trump, when he got in, he did do good, but he also did some bad. He was for red flag laws. The wall didn't get built. And you also got to understand, these congressmen and senators are going to fight Trump every step of the way. When he was elected, he had control, right? Republicans were in control of the House and Senate, and they still couldn't get stuff done. They still couldn't get stuff done. You got to remember that. I'm not telling you to give up. Don't give up hope, but I'm telling you, if you're not willing to be physically active in something like this, to get out there and be like, y'all got to get out of here, right? You got to vote these people out. Then it's just going to keep going. It's going to keep going, and it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. 17 minutes, pretty much wasting my breath here, because on my analytics it shows that most people watch my videos for about 3 minutes and tune out. So I mean, guys, keep your head on a swivel, be aware of your surroundings, protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, you're the only person that can do it. Stay safe. Yes, it's your duty as a citizen to vote, but if you're not willing to fix the foundation, you got to understand it cannot be fixed from the top down. It cannot be fixed from the top down. It can't. You can't fix it by hoping Trump goes in and drains the swamp. Because guess what? Another animal's going to come back up in the swamp, right? Stay safe. Keep your head on a swivel, especially with what's going on and what's fixing to go on. It may get pretty hairy. It may get pretty sporty. Stay safe. Get prepped up. Let me know your thoughts on this video.